1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
He's a mouse. He's our eyes in the ring.
I really do enjoy watching him fight.
If you don't dedicate yourself to that sport, you will lose.
He's a warrior, man. He's always been a warrior.
They will run around. They will beat you.
And touches on it all the time. You gotta break the body down.
Go ahead, Cam. Go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Is the thing started?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, so
Hey, what up, brother? How you been?
I've been good, man. Been good. How about you, man? How was your week?
Hey, you already know, man. I was there on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't even seem like it, but yeah,
It wasn't.
I was there Monday, man, and to DC. Went to go see my boy Ant. We went by Headbangers Gym. It was a great experience, man. I was like a little kid in a candy shop, man. As you guys know, I told you before, I'm a big fan of Patrice Harris, and like it's always been one of my things just to hit mitts with him. So going down there, like I was putting on my gloves and stuff like that. It was like the youth class or the youth session. A lot of the guys in there were young or they were pretty new. So I'm getting my gloves on and wrapping up, and he looks over. He's like, "Yo, Cam, come here." I'm just like, "What?" And we was holding mitts, man. Like it was pretty cool. So a boy was out of shape though.
Yeah.
Oh man, I told you. I was about like 15, 20 pounds heavier than when I used to fight at, around 175. So I'm about like 190, 193, and
Cam, a cruiserweight.
I felt it. I felt it trying to hit mitts with this man, but it was all good though. It was great. Got to give a big shout out to Headbangers down in DC.
Mm-hmm.
Patrice Harris. He's one of the best coaches that I know, and I'm a big fan. So yeah, there's a lot of good talent in that gym. From the little kids to the pros, all those guys are doing their thing. Very welcoming, which is one thing I really didn't expect. Everybody down there was real cool, and it was all around great experience. So if you guys are in that area, go down to that gym. Support what they're doing. They're doing a great thing down there.
They really do, man. My week was good, man. I got to spar with Cam, man. You didn't. I'm surprised you didn't mention I threw you halfway around the ring, man.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised I remembered. Yeah, so me and Ant sparred. Ant, he's too big to spar anybody down there, and I was the next biggest person. So we hopped in the ring and we went 2 rounds. I mean, I only had 2 rounds in me. Yeah. Either way, I told you, man.
I could tell, man, because Cam, usually you quick with the hands. This time I was like, I can tell that you kind of had difficulty moving around the ring,
Yeah, man. But we sparred, and it was cool. And at one point, lifted me off my feet and made me do a backflip.
That's crazy, man. I'm heavier than what I think, man, for real. Because I didn't even try to. I mean, I'm not saying I was going to do it on purpose, but
you got that power, man. Like man don't know his own strength, man.
Yeah.
But, it was all good though.
I just wanted to mention real quick. We're gonna try a different format, man. We're trying to move through from one episode every 2 weeks to one episode a week. That's the that's the big thing. That's the big change in the 8-Count podcast world. I feel like there's so many news. There's so many, there's so many news that comes out in 2 weeks that, we kind of had to break it down into a weekly episode,
Hey, I'm for it, man.
A boxing news type of show,
Yeah, no, seriously. I think it's going to be better for our listeners. So, the people supporting and tuning in. So I'm with it.
Yeah, so the episode is not going to be so long. I know I talk a lot, but, at least the episode is not going to be over an hour. Actually, Cam, I came last night. It was a big weekend of boxing. Not even just a big night. It was a big weekend of boxing.
Let him know, Ant, man. Holla at him.
Starting on Friday, it was a big weekend of boxing. I actually saw all the fight, at Kevin Fuss. Shout out to Kevin, man. He lives in DC now. The twin.
What happened?
I watched it.
You watch it with Kev. I didn't know.
Kev. So I was with Kev last night. Yeah, I was with Kev last night.
FaceTime him, brother, and let me say what's up to him, man.
I didn't even think about it, man. I was so focused. When I got there, I was so focused on, that Loma versus Rigondeaux that it didn't even occur to me. Yeah, I watched most of his fight at his house. He's doing well. He's looking
That's what's up.
He's doing well. He's looking for a gym. I tried to get him to come down to a Headbanger to spar there because I feel like, he told me he kind of gained a few pounds as well, but he want to spar and get into the whole boxing groove. So,
with him, I think if you took him there, he would probably go pro. I think he would. I really do.
I don't know, but I mean, he said I guess now that he knows that I trained there, he might want to make the drive because, I mean, he's not too far. He's not too far from there. But shout out to Kev, man.
My man Kev, man. Yo, I tell you, he's probably the one person that when we sparred, we would probably try to kill each other every single time, going for blood.
That's what he was telling me yesterday.
Yeah. It was never a light sparring session, man. Like, we probably stay in there until we kill each other. Yeah. It's all respect and all love, man. My man Kev. Shout out to Kev.
Yeah. He's doing well. He's doing his thing. He's staying in DC, so he's doing well. But yeah, as I was saying, was a big weekend in boxing, starting on Friday with Luis Ortiz win. Jean Pascal. Now I'm saying the American way. No, Jean Pascal had the Canadian fighter had his last fight. We had over in the UK on Saturday, we had the DeGale, we had Lee Selby, Daniel Dubois, and Anthony Yard. And then we had the HBO triple header, and then we had the Lomachenko whole undercard. So we'll break down all these fights today. But before we go into this, I have a couple of fight announcements to start off with. So the prospect, I think I talked about it in the podcast before. Joshua Kelly, I talked about it with Kevin yesterday, man. He's fighting on Wednesday. He's having his 5th pro fight on Wednesday. He's fighting Jean-Michel Amilcaro. He's a French fighter. So, if you guys get a chance, look him up. Like I said, Joshua Kelly, he got that Lomachenko style. So
that's why you said his name so well, because he's a French fighter.
He's fighting against a Frenchman. Joshua Kelly is British, but the guy he's fighting is French.
Yeah.
But you guys look him up, man. Joshua Kelly, he fight like Lomachenko. So if you guys want to see the sweet science, make sure you check him out. Like I already mentioned, he's a former British Olympian, but he's nice with the hands. So that's on Wednesday, with Matchroom Boxing. So we also mentioned that the Claressa Shield versus Tori Nelson fight actually wasn't on December 1st, but the fight is on January 12th, and it will be for the WBC, for the WBC and IBF world title, and the fight will be on Showtime. So Claressa Shield, Tori Nelson, make sure you check it out. Also, I have to mention the fight for my countryman Francis Ngannou will be fighting for his versus Stipe Miocic for the UFC at UFC 220 on January 20th. The fight will be for the UFC heavyweight title belt. Make sure you don't miss that one. It might go.
That's gonna be a good one.
I was gonna say, man, it might be fast.
Yeah, man.
That might be a fast one.
Boy's a beast.
The boy's a beast. So another one is the World Boxing Super Series cruiserweight semifinal. Murat Gassiev versus Junior Dorticos will be on February 3rd. So make sure you guys, all these fights, make sure you mark your calendars for all these fights. This should be a good one. And lastly, the last one I have is the rematch of Tony Bellew versus David Haye will be on May 5th. That's over in the UK. Hopefully, if they set up, man, I'm thinking about, now that I think about it, this might be another big weekend for boxing, because if Golden Boy signed the Canelo versus Triple G, that might be in the afternoon. We get the Tony Bellew rematch, and later on during the day we'll get the Canelo versus Triple G rematch. Yeah, so that's all I got for the fight announcement. Let's get into the fight result, man.
All 28 million fights that happened, man.
Hey, man.
Yeah, it was a very big weekend for boxing. Yeah. I'll let you start off, Ant.
Man, I'm gonna go quick, because a couple of notable fights. The Luis Ortiz was fighting the West Virginian fighter. I can't remember his name. Marius Dodds. It was a quick fight. I think he was a 3rd round stoppage. He got him with a counter jab, and the dude went on the floor. After, if you notice the clips online, after there was a little back and forth between Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz was calling out Deontay Wilder. Wilder got into the ring. They're talking about a rematch. They're talking about facing each other again. And I don't think Wilder should take the fight, man.
No, you don't think so?
As much as I'm a fighting fan, if he really want to set up the Anthony Joshua fight, he should stay away from Luis Ortiz, man.
That's what I was thinking. The same thing, man. You know, I was thinking about that, and then what you said about having Deontay Wilder maybe build up his boxing resume before he fights Joshua. So I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I'm like, yeah, it'd be a good fight before, but also it might be a bad fight because you might take that L, man.
Me, it's not even if he's going to take the L. It's just that he may, even if he win, he may not look good for the fight, you know?
Yeah,
he may not look good in the fight, and that's not going to be convincing enough for him to get the fight he wants with with Anthony Joshua. And again, as much as I'm a fight fan, it's a business. I'm telling you, take the Dalen White fight because you will make more money. At the end of the day, it's great. It's great of Deontay Wilder to prove to be the best. But that doesn't mean that doesn't bring the money. You know what? That doesn't bring that's not what brings the money. You know? Yeah,
and that kind of goes back to what we were saying too. I think, he's so hungry. He just fight, no matter who it is.
Yeah, I mean, Luis Ortiz, that's not someone. That's no one to play with. So yeah, Luis Ortiz won a third round stoppage. We'll see what's next for him. Moving on from that, we got Jean Pascal. The Canadian fighter Jean Pascal was fighting Ahmed Abdiali. Ahmed was undefeated, so he wasn't upset for Jean Pascal. It was a pretty good fight. He was the Canadian fighter last fight, so farewell for him and everything he did in the sport of boxing. He got some couple good fights. He fought the like of Kovalev. He fought Bernard Hopkins, Lucian Bute. So, I mean, good way to end your boxing career on a good note.
It's got some good names on there.
Yeah. Moving on, I think we're going to start with the UK card. We're going to start with the first fight. It was Daniel Dubois, the heavyweight prospect. That's on the rise. He beat his opponent, I think, with a 6th-round knockout. Was it a 6? I think it was a 6th-round knockout. But anyway, so Daniel Dubois won his fight. Anthony Yard won his fight as well.
Lions in the Den.
Did you watch that fight?
Yeah, I watched that one.
Yeah.
Lions in the Den.
Lions in the Den. He got these body shots, man. This man breaks down the body, yo.
Yeah, he beat him. But you know what? I still think Anthony Yard still has a lot of fine tuning to do.
Still green. He's still green.
Yeah, I mean he definitely he has a lot of good skills and he has good boxing. But I think he has a lot of because he was getting caught with some stuff. Yeah. I think he could have easily avoided.
Right.
I think he should have put that guy away a little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Anthony Yard, man. He's built like Captain America.
I was gonna say he built like you, man. You don't see yourself. No,
hey, you know what? It's funny too, Ian, because hey guys, if you want to check out my my mid-work session with Patrice Harris, is on Instagram. But actually, when I looked at that video, and I was like, damn, like a boy is looking pretty heavy.
Do you? But you remember two of the guys told you that you said you were 195. They was just like, yeah, that's probably all muscle.
Yeah, just like you play football. I'm like, nah. But yeah, I mean, it's just something like you don't realize until like you see it. Because I'm used to seeing like Patrice Harris with a lot smaller guys too when he's doing mitts, and then I'm like, damn, I'm like the size of this man.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but yeah, going back to the Anthony Yard fight, I mean, the gentleman he was fighting, he never got stopped, Cam. So that's, I mean, he never got stopped. So that was a good fight. Anthony Yard got the win, keep his WBO European title. Lee Selby and the DeGale fight. Lee Selby won again against Eduardo Ramirez. Man, you got another one, man. He's putting his name on the pound for pound list, but man, you were getting touched up by Eduardo Ramirez.
Yeah, for real.
He was getting touched up. I mean, at the end of the day, you got the win. Great. To me, there's still some things you have to work on. There's not much to say about this fight, like I said. He got the win, but I felt like he was a difficult fight for Lee Selby. The main event was James DeGale versus Caleb Truax. We have a major upset. Caleb Truax was able to beat James DeGale.
Yeah.
Man, I will say this. DeGale, you cannot win a fight staying on the rope the whole night. I don't know if you watched the fight, but the dude, he was very similar to Joseph Parker versus Huey Fury, where James DeGale was fighting the rope. He was fighting on the rope the whole night. Caleb Truax was the one putting pressure the whole night, and man, I thought Caleb Truax was going to get robbed. Being, with the fight being in England, I thought Caleb Truax was going to get robbed. And he had a major opportunity to end the fight in the 5th round. He had James DeGale on the rope. James DeGale's nose was bleeding. He was connecting every punches. And for some reason, he took his foot off the gas. And I was just like, what? Like, the thing that I didn't like about Caleb Truax is he doesn't have that killer instinct where you get the opponent hurt, and instead of stepping on the gas and finishing the fight, he didn't. He ended up getting the win. I mean, he got the IBF title. Shout out to you. I'm really happy for him. But I don't know why James DeGale was surprised he lost. To me, I was like, you didn't do enough to win. On the second part not even the second part, the last 4 round, that's where James DeGale started getting more active. Now he has to go back to the drawing board, man, and he won't be able to set up the fight he was trying to set up in 2018. I can't remember I think it's been Benavidez, that's the person he was trying to fight.
Benavidez,
yeah, that fight's not going to happen. Something interesting that I've noticed when I see all these fights. When I was looking at the Kovalev fight, I was looking at the Barrera fight, I was looking at the James DeGale, even Anthony Yard. It made me really realize how great Andre Ward was. Andre Ward beat he beat Kovalev, he beat Barrera. Mm-hmm. I don't think James DeGale would have been much of a matchup between Andre Ward. Anthony Yard, he's gonna come up, he's the new big thing. I don't think he would have been much of a problem for Andre Ward. So he really made me realize how great Andre Ward was. Matter of fact, I tweeted that, Cam, and Andre Ward, he liked my tweet, man.
Was that on your Instagram or ours?
He was on Twitter. No, he was on my Twitter, man. I was like seeing all these guys around the super middleweight, light heavy, really makes me appreciate Andre Ward, man. Because Barrera and Kovalev are some serious clients, and he both beat them up. And I feel like now that he's retired, Kovalev's gonna be the one reigning at light heavy, So yeah, man, that's all I have for this UK fight card, man. Anything you want to add on this fight?
Nah, man. I think you hit everything pretty spot on with all the analysis and stuff like that. I think we can move on to the next set of fights. So last night, we had a couple fights going on. We had the fights on HBO, and then we had the fights on ESPN.
Right.
The ESPN fight started first.
Brian Jennings is the first fight that was on the card.
And Brian Jennings won that fight, representing for Philly.
I gotta say this, man. I think it was a disrespect. Brian Jennings is someone who actually paid his dues in the sport of boxing. Yeah. He fought the likes of Klitschko's. He did enough to have his fight. I'm not requesting that he's a main event action, but at least he should be. Michaela Myers, there's no way Michaela Myers should be in front of Brian Jennings, He
shouldn't have been the first card on that.
He shouldn't have been the first card. She just started, I feel like when I see, and I gotta say this, when I see Michaela Myers, I feel like they're trying to pull a Ronda Rousey with her in a sense where she's very good looking. She was in the Olympics, and they're trying to have her on the fast track of, women boxing. See what I'm saying? So they're already putting her in major event, which is great, Not knocking that. But you still have to have some sort of respect for the sport. Brian Jennings did enough that he has to fight before her. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was Brian Jennings, Michaela Myers. She actually won, by the way. Congratulations. It was only her third fight, I think.
Yeah.
So Michaela Myers, and then there was the Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, he put his
second round stoppage.
Oh my gosh! Like you said, and it was a boxing clinic. He put his boy away real quick. Boy had no answer for him, and then I figured it wouldn't go past the second, and it didn't. It was easy work for him.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't have to. Nah, that fight was quick. He was going to the head, body quick. He right off the bat. He didn't even fill out his opponent. He just went in, started throwing hands, and he stopped him within the second round.
Next on that, he was the Irish fighter Michael Colin.
Yeah, I saw that fight. I'm not too familiar with him.
Nice.
But I think, and Timothy Bradley was commentating on this fight. And I don't think this man should be commentating, because all he kind of really does is just he gives a critique. It's almost like what did I say? It's almost like a passive aggressive towards him, like being better than that person. It's kind of funny, but he was making some good points, and it was saying this kid can be a little bit more disciplined when it comes to just his boxing, keeping the hands up, becoming a complete fighter. He did a lot of showboating, flashy type stuff, but if that were the case, I think if he's capable of doing that flashy stuff, then he should have ended the guy, a lot earlier. Yeah, and I don't think he's quite there as a fighter yet to, have his hands down with that level of comfortability. He won, without a doubt, but from what I know about the kid and from what they were saying, I guess he's a little arrogant sometimes.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's a little arrogant.
He is, because Kevin was telling me that I think he got robbed in the Olympics, for what I remember, and he ficked off everybody, apparently. All corner, and he was just like, hey, I'm going pro. Forget you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently, during the Olympics, he said something to, one of the Russian judges, or, the Russian committee or something like that, and was just like, whatever. like, F you guys, and basically what you said, like, pretty much just flipped him off. He's a young kid. I think he's only 20.
Yeah, he's that young?
Yeah, I think so. I could be, if I remember correctly, I think they said he was only 20. But I got the sense that he's going to be a flashy type person.
Add the fact that McGregor is backing him up. McGregor came to his last fight, so that can boost a kid. You know what I mean? When you have the McGregors watching you ringside, that doesn't help,
Yeah, as I was going to say, I think...
he's 26.
I think he's 26? Oh, yeah, sorry. I was 6 years off. Like, McGregor, like, rubs off on him if they definitely are... pretty tight. I know that's how it goes. A lot of fighters, like you got Adrian Broner, Floyd, those type of relationships when it comes to fighters and like upcoming fighters. They usually tend to take after the person they look up to. I can definitely see that, and I can see it how he is.
Yeah. No. Talking about staying on this on the Irish boxing real quick. I just want to give a quick shout out. I'm all about shout out to
the SO.
No, but to Matthew Macklin, man, Irish fighter, obviously. Now he's retired and he's building his promoting company, boxing promoting company, and he's doing his things, man. He has some good prospects. He has so Michael Conlan, he's one of the prospects he has. I think he just signed Tyson Fury. I commend Matthew Macklin from turning into from a boxer to a boxing promoter. He's really doing his thing. He's signing some good names. I mentioned Tyson Fury, Michael Conlan now being on the rise. Mac the Knife, man. Mac the Knife, Matthew, the global, they're really doing their thing. So, good for them. Another British and Irish, promoting company doing their thing, signing their fighters in good fight and good matchup,
Cool.
So between, before the main event, there was a fight. I didn't even know the fight was on the undercard because they didn't even mention the fight. The two gentlemen that were fighting right before Loma versus Rigo? They didn't even, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. What was their names?
I don't know, because they didn't,
yeah, there was one more.
They didn't publicize that card.
I cannot remember who that was.
Oh, we don't have to. We don't even have to cover it. We can go straight to the main event, man. We can go straight to the main event.
All right, main event, Lomo versus Rigo. I mean, you want to start on that one, Ant?
Man, it was a tough night for me, man. I was very, very, very disappointed in Rigondeaux. I was very, very disappointed. I understand there was the size difference was insane.
It really was, man.
Lomachenko was maybe 20 pounds heavier than him easily.
Yeah.
I think that may have been the reason why Rigondeaux gave up. I don't even know what can I say really. He really realized that there's nothing he could have done because he kept holding. First of all, he started by holding all the time. And I knew and I saw the point deduction coming. He let Lomachenko hitting him. And by the fourth, he didn't have any answer for Lomachenko. So I don't even think he hurt his hand, or maybe he did, but he was like, this is I think he really realized this is pointless. There was no way for him to win this fight because had the card been anywhere, it would have been anywhere close, they would have given it to Loma. Like I said, he was really against the world wanting him to lose. So once he realized that he wasn't able to do anything or he wasn't able to get his way, I think he just quit.
I think it was a lose-lose situation from the get-go.
Yeah.
I mean, the pay cut, the weight jump, the forfeiting of his title at 122. I think he was bound to lose either way. And I don't even know why. I get it. You want to be the best, you want to fight everybody, but I mean, he had so much at stake there, and I personally don't think he hurt his hand. I think
he had more pride than heart, man. I think that's what he was. He had more pride than he had heart.
Definitely, and when it comes to the said hand injury, I'm like, there's no way he hurt his hand or broke his hand because he didn't even hit Lomachenko with anything. I think, like you said, and he realized he couldn't win, and there wasn't really anything he could do. So I think his ref called it, and I think that was a smart choice because he wasn't going to win that fight.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, as far as that's fine. You not winning the fight, but you can still stay in the fight and win and try to display heart because okay, maybe if you lose your title, right? Maybe you lose the fight. But you may gain fans because so many people turn on this fight. You had the attention of so many. The fight was on the national stage. Mm-hmm. So once again, that's the thing that hurt him most of his career is every time you give him a chance at a national stage, he messed it up. Whether it was on HBO, whether it was on HBO, wherever channel he was on, it was always something where the fight gets stopped too early, no contest. He's boring. He's not boring. He's inactive. Now you finally get a chance to fight the best, to get more active and show your boxing skills. Because even if you lose, the boxing world is not going to forget about you because of how you fought against the bigger guys. So he could have lost, but gained so many more fans by how he lost. Because you would have made a great story. You fought the bigger guy. You lost. You made so much sacrifices and you compromised so much in order for you to get that fight. And now for you to just give up in the 4th or 5th round, it's just like now the boxing world they wrote you off completely.
Seriously,
Rigondeaux, it's over.
Yeah, me
it's
too.
Really, really over.
Him quitting was one of the worst decisions he could have made with everything already against him. You know. And like I said, I don't know why his fight team, with everything he had going on against him for that fight, I don't know why they even advised that fight to continue to push forward. But
like I said, pride.
But at the end of the day, now he's beltless. He got that loss. He looks like a quitter.
I mean, He is a quitter. He doesn't look. He quits. That's a quitter. I think he didn't want to get embarrassed. He was getting embarrassed. You know, Lomachenko up to the 4th round started to do whatever he wanted.
Yeah. He
didn't want to get embarrassed. He didn't want to look bad. So he just called it a day. Like, hey, you didn't even make a lot of money, but he just like, there's no point of
didn't make no money. It's like, and I realized like watching that fight as it progressed, like he really had no business being in there with Lomo.
No business.
He was outclassed, outsized. You know,
the size difference was too much. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't realize. I saw the weigh-in, but I didn't realize when they were actually squared up with each other, you know, how much bigger Lomo actually looked. Props to Lomo for his post-fight interview.
Yeah,
you know, he definitely got more fan points with me when he made the comment of saying, you know, Rigo is the king at 122. You know, this isn't his weight class. You know, he shouldn't. Yeah. And Lomo even said, like, it's not a big win for me. It's like, he's pretty much like he was fighting a little kid, man. So.
Having said that, I honestly don't think it's Lomachenko who lowballed Rigondeaux. I think it's more of his management team. Yeah. You know, I think if it was up to Loma, he would have tried to make the 126. Because they tried to make the fight, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and Lomachenko actually wanted to, you know, he wanted to go with the to meet him in the middle. So so Rigondeaux go up to 126, and Lomachenko go down to 126. So he was willing to compromise back then. Yeah. But his team, knowing that they had the upper hand this time around, you know, chose that he make all these compromises, and like you said. I don't know if the fight should not have happened. Rigondeaux, man, your career is over, man.
I mean, he's 37 too. Isn't that?
It's not even the age. It's more the boxing world. The reason why they took your belt away is because they didn't want the champions or any competitors to face you at 122. That's why they took your belt away, because now they don't need you. Like, he's not gonna be in a major fight anymore. I honestly believe he's not gonna be in a major fight anymore, because the age difference is one thing, but it's not even the age. It's more the boxing style he displays, you know? At this point, I just think he should try to do something with the Cuban boxer. He should become a coach or something. I don't know, man, but boxing, man, it's over.
I think that this fight really set up the rest of his career, if there's going to be a rest of his career. Like, I think this fight kind of, you know, it was the turning point for his career.
Yeah.
And even if he won, it still wouldn't have been, you know, a good thing for him.
But I mean, it would have been a better thing. It's just the way you win. You have to remember, fans, they give you respect based on the fight you give them. You may get a loss, and it's always been like that. Fighters worried about the loss because of the business. But if you put on a great show, hell yeah, the fight will want to see you fight again. Look at the Mickey Ward fight. I mean, those are different style of fighting. But look at the Andre Gotti versus Mickey Ward, for example. You look at back in the UFC, you can see Nate Diaz versus McGregor. When those fight where the both fighters engage in, the fans demand that. You have so many fighters that don't have the skills of Lomachenko or Rigondeaux, but they're on TV all the time because people love the way they fight. We're going to talk about it. Orlando Salido versus Miguel Roman. That's what happened yesterday. The fans demand these type of fighters because at the end of the day, you pay, you get your money worth, you know? And Rigondeaux just didn't deliver. So, like I said, his career is over.
His career is over.
I would rather. No, I'm really, really disappointed because you know I was one of the people that really rooted for him. But anyway, that's whatever. What's next for Lomachenko? That's what I'm worried about now.
I mean, after the fight, this is just what they were talking about. They're talking about him moving up to 135, maybe fighting like Linares or Mikey Garcia. And he said he would fight Mikey Garcia at that weight.
Honestly, I'm asking you who. Honestly, I'm asking anybody out there who can beat Lomachenko. That's my question.
Hey, that is the question now, man. Like, because after he's making these fighters quit, man, and it happens in boxing, but it doesn't happen as often as it does for one fighter like this.
I don't see this kid lose, man. I don't see this kid lose. 29, he still has some good years in him. He's going up. I don't see him lose, man. I don't see him lose, for real. I don't see any name that could pose a threat to him around 130, 135. Even at 140, who?
I don't know, man. And real quick, so I remember that fight that happened before. So it was
I thought you remember the fight.
I do. It was Chris Diaz, man. He was at the TKO gym we were at. He trains with Nick Rosario. What? Yeah, Nick Rosario, the guy I pointed out at that gym. He beat I forget the other guy's name, but he beat his opponent in a unanimous decision, I think. And that's why it was because I watched that fight. I didn't know that fight was happening either because like Nick Rosario, he trains with Tevin Farmer, and they're obviously not in the same spot. Right now. So yeah, that fight happened. But anyways.
Yeah, man. So now his new nickname is Lomachenko, man.
Yeah.
Lomachenko. Yeah,
Lomachenko.
But he's a beaut. But man, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I said, just to finish, I don't think he was a skill thing. I think he was more of a size thing, size and reach thing where Rigo just gave up. But now, what's next for Lomachenko is really what I'm worried about. I was thinking maybe a Gervonta Davis matchup, but Gervonta Davis ain't ready for that work.
Nah.
Davis ain't ready for that work.
Nah, man. I would like to.
He's not dedicated to the sport enough, in my opinion.
We'll get to Gervonta a little bit later because of all the HBO fights, but yeah. I'd like to see Linares go in there just because of the speed factor.
Man, the way this man switched up angles, angles on you, man. He punched from weird angles and all that. He really, as far as fundamentals, he's the definition of boxing, man.
Yeah, he's got it all.
He's the definition. His dad did a great job as creating the ultimate weapon at 130, 135.
His dad said he envisioned it before he was even conceived, man. So, I mean, congrats to Lomachenko. It was cool to see him recognize that, it wasn't that big of a win for him, given the size difference and the weight difference and all that, and the age difference too. It was just, Lomachenko is still a very humble guy, I feel like. And yeah. I think he's ready to test himself against anybody and anyone.
Yeah, and he deserves everything he gets, man. He deserves every single thing he gets. So, is he number one pound for pound list now, Cam? In your eyes?
I mean, I still got Crawford up there, man.
I think off of record, because I feel like they're putting up pound for pound list off of potential. But to be honest, he should be number 2. Terrence Crawford should still be number 1. Lomachenko should be number 2.
I think that one loss just knocks him down into that second position.
And he's not going to get his rematch.
No, he's not.
He's not going to get the rematch. But yeah, I think I would still leave Terrence Crawford number 1 and Lomachenko second. But did you get to see? I mean, I don't really know what happened, but did you get to see the quick beef between Stephen A. Smith? First of all, we got to talk about this. They need to stop.
It was funny because I was at the gym this morning, and the guy at the front desk was asking me like, "How was Stephen A. Smith's commentating?" And I was just like, "He's another person that does not need to be commentating about boxing."
I've been waiting to say this. Go on.
Clearly, Lomachenko should not lose this fight. He's got to get it done.
My brother Stephen A. Smith, man, I appreciate your drive for making money and always being available for ESPN whenever they want to. But stay away from boxing, please. Seriously.
Well, and the thing that you can just tell he had no input on either fighter. He basically he made it as if he was sitting across from Skip Bayless again, making an argument against nobody. Like, I'm like, who are you yelling at and who are you arguing about? Like, about who should win?
Did you see the beef? Bro, the little thing that happened with Teddy Atlas after the fight?
No, I didn't see that. What happened?
Apparently, they went at it, man. I've seen a little clip on Instagram. They went at it.
Oh.
Teddy Atlas got mad, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know the reason why Teddy Atlas was mad. That's pretty much one of these things where I'm debating someone that don't know shit about boxing, and you want to have an argument with me in boxing, you know? Because I think Teddy Atlas was making the case that there was no way that Rigondeaux won. So obviously he quit. He quit it because he noticed that there was no way, the size difference was just too much. And Stephen A. Smith may have tried to argue with him that, you could have done this, or no, there's no way for you to quit. And Teddy Atlas, being a trainer, is trying to explain him from a trainer mind and from a fighter mind where Rigondeaux is coming from. And I think Stephen A. Smith wasn't trying to hear it.
Of course.
So sometimes he's a loud mouth. The thing about Stephen A. Smith is he makes some great points, but sometimes you can't always argue with people that know better than you. Sometimes you have to just shut up and listen.
And that's what I think, with him and Skip Bayless used to do. That show was just based on them going back and forth and arguing. And that's how you create views, people to view or watch the show.
Point. That's a good point, but Teddy Atlas don't see it that way.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I think Teddy Atlas doesn't see it that way. He's just you don't know what you're talking about.
I think Teddy Atlas, by all means, is all right to say that, especially having the experience, because you know how it is. You got it, because it's the same thing with fans. Like, you got fans that don't know the sport and haven't participated in the sport, trying to talk about it. You kind of feel the same way. Like, oh, well, what else do you think? like, what else do you have to say?
And they went at it with the back of the Canelo versus Triple G. If you remember, after the fight, same thing. They were disputing the scorecard.
Yeah,
pretty much. So he made of course an interesting internet moment. If you get a chance after this, go look it up.
I will. I will.
Go look it up. So yeah, that's what for the ESPN card
fights. Yeah,
I still hope they got some good reviews. I hope people turn in and watch the fight. I'm sorry, guys, man. I'm really, really sorry.
It was not what we expected it to be as far as being fight of the year. It actually was a big letdown, and that's
it really wasn't.
And that's kind of been the trend for some of the fights we thought were going to be pretty exciting this year, like the Adrian Broner versus Garcia. We thought that was going to be a show, but that was just a one-sided fight. And it's kind of same thing with this one. This one we expected to see some good boxing, and it just didn't happen.
But especially because Rigondeaux he's back against the world, man.
Yeah, you're right.
He had his back against the world. He made so much compromise, and I get the size difference, but man, you got to this point. That's what I don't get. All throughout his career, man, you get a chance, the opportunity to finally show skills, and you don't. So. For one, he only has himself to blame, and that's all I'm gonna say. Let's move on to the HBO card now.
Move on to the HBO. So I think the HBO.
First of all, I'm sorry to cut you off. There was a little thing that's going on because apparently the HBO card wasn't supposed to happen. Bob Arum, the HBO, I guess, elected a new CEO there. He's only 38, coming out of I think Harvard or Yale, whatever. And Bob Arum actually had issues with the guy, because why would you put such a big card on December 9th, knowing that we already booked that date pretty much for the Lomachenko, which is
so you're saying that new CEO set up these fights on that same day,
knowing that they already had the date for the Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux, and that's the reason why they had an hour late. The HBO card was a little later than the ESPN card. But it created issues again. War.
Man, they teach that in boxing 101 at Harvard. You didn't know that, man?
American, you know what I'm saying? American boxing, man.
Kind of ties into what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So that the Lomo Rigo fight was happening while I think the first undercard of the HBO fight started with Steven Smith and what's the other guy's name? And I don't have it.
The what? Who?
It was Steven Smith versus
Francisco Vargas.
So I was going back and forth, and I was paying more attention to the Rigo and Lomo fight. But then once that stopped, I switched over. So it was a good close fight. Steven Smith, I think it was the 8th round when it happened. He headbutted. They headbutted. They clashed heads, and I don't know how it happened, but like his ear got like lacerated, like right from the top, and it was like hanging off his head. So obviously they didn't let him continue to fight. So he lost that fight due to that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a headbutt.
Wait. Do they go to the scorecard and see who's leading in the scorecard at that point, or they just declared he lost the fight because of the injury?
I think they declared it as just like a regular stoppage. Unfortunately, even though he was willing to fight, I think they had.
But you can't. Yeah, but no, see, but that's funny. That's funny because he reminds you what you said. Someone got the ears, I was going to say chopped off, half chopped off, and he's willing to fight. And someone else has a bare injury in his hand, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm done."
Exactly, and that was the interesting thing about that. You have Rigondeaux, who supposedly hurt his hand to the point where he couldn't fight anymore, calling the fight, and then you got this guy on the other side on HBO over here fighting with half an ear, like he like he probably couldn't even hear anymore.
Yeah.
So, and Lomo made a good point too. I don't mean to go backwards, but during that post-fight interview, when they asked him about Rigondeaux's hand being hurt, like Lomo rolled his eyes and was like, I've fought with a broken hand before with one hand. Like you get in the ring, you go in there and you fight. Like you're gonna have to.
Man, you fought with a broken wrist, Cam.
I mean, if you're gonna get in the sport, you might as well go in there. And Lomo said, I'm not gonna stop until like I die. So
everybody did. Floyd Mayweather did.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember versus. I think it was versus. What's his name? Robert Guerrero. And you could tell, like when he actually removed his gloves and all the wrapping, the wrap, you could see how swollen his hand was. So you could tell he wasn't even lying, but he went up all the way to the 12th round.
Yeah, I mean, you said it too, and like no boxer's ever at 100% when they get in the ring. So either you put up with it or you don't fight. So that's how I see it, and that's how most of the other professionals see it. But at the end of the day, some decide to use that as an excuse to not fight. So it's unfortunate. Either way, my man wanted to fight with his ear hanging off. It was like Tyson and Holyfield.
Lost the fight, you said. He lost, right?
Yeah, he lost because, they wouldn't let him fight anymore. So, it was a good fight. So it was unfortunate that happened, but I don't know what they plan on doing. I mean, they might set that fight up again just because of that, but who knows? Who was after that?
Kenichi Ogawa versus our boy, Tevin Farmer. Yeah.
Did you get to see any of that fight?
I got to the second half of the fight. I think it was on the 6th or 7th round by the time I got to the fight. Tevin Farmer was leading up he was winning most of the scorecard by the time I got to the fight.
I thought so too, man. And that I think, sorry, let me correct myself. That was on while the Lomo and Rigo fight was still happening.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I was switching back and forth. I was paying attention more to Lomo Rigo fight. But from what I've seen from Tevin Farmer, he was controlling the fight. But I like I said, and I am surprised that he didn't look as sharp as I thought he would look. He was throwing one punch at a time. He was catching the guy, but it wasn't like he was putting combos together. 'Cause I've seen Tevin Farmer be pretty slick. But it wasn't the same Tevin Farmer in this fight.
I felt like his conditioning wasn't really up to par because when I got there, I felt like he looked a little tired, man. He looked a little gassed out.
Yeah,
I gotta say, man, he looked like the Japanese guy. I mean, first of all, for based on the judge card, Max Kellerman said that apparently he felt like he was robbed. Apparently, he said Tevin Farmer got robbed. Yeah. Surely, okay, but still, the Japanese guy was still in the fight. He was working, although he was losing. He was working, and I think maybe the judges rewarded the work rate, maybe, and the fact that he was the one applying the pressure. And Tevin Farmer, for what I saw from the second part of the fight, he was fighting on his back foot. he was backing up the fight I saw. So maybe he was just ducking and dodging and trying to throwing hands whenever he could. So if I see the second part of the fight as I saw, to me, I couldn't really tell if Tevin Farmer did enough to win.
Yeah.
So I would have to go back and watch the fight again if I want to.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go back and watch the fight. But I will say this. I think it was either like the 6th or 7th round when Tevin Farmer went back into his corner. Mm-hmm. His coach, what's his name? I think Chino. Mm-hmm. He told him, he was like, that last round you just did was like bullshit. Like you want to be an elite fighter, you can't take any rounds off, and you got to stay consistent and disciplined. And I think it was a really cool thing to hear. Yeah. Obviously, Tevin Farmer thought he was in the mindset to where he thought he was winning that fight to where he could take a round off.
He was cruising.
Yeah, exactly. But his coach was basically like, "Nah, we don't do that shit. Like we're better than that. You know, we're gonna win the fight convincingly." So I think that kind of can factor into the fact that, you know, maybe that decision wasn't as off as we thought it was. And like I said, and I didn't think Tevin Farmer looked as sharp as I normally see him, and Ogawa definitely did put in some work. So I can't be mad. Like initially, I was like, "Oh wow!" Like they really did, you know, mess up that decision. But you know, thinking about it now, Tevin Farmer was on the back foot, and you know, he didn't make it convincing enough.
So yeah, and I really like the point you made about the coaches telling you that it's pretty much bullshit. And I wish more coaches would call out the fighters when they BS, because when I saw in the Caleb, going back to the James DeGale versus Caleb fight, if I was a coach, I would have yelled. I mean, I would have been in my fighter ears like, "What it is that you're doing? This was a 2 months training camp, and that's what you're giving me." Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we at the point we work hard for this, and you get to this stage, and this is what you do. Yeah. So I wish more coaches, more trainers, because sometimes you're right. A lot of fighters make that mistake, thinking that I'm ahead in the sport in the scorecard, so I can kind of take a round off or two, you know. But this is boxing. You don't know. You never know what's going to happen in boxing. You know, especially when you don't fight in your hometown. So you have to fight till the end. So good on it. And this is what happened at the end. Now the IBF title is going back to Japan. You know, so because there's one thing you can say, you were ahead in the scorecard, and apparently, if you look at the copybacks number, Tevin Farmer was ahead. He had. Yeah. If you look at it, he was clearly he landed more. He landed more clean punch. So technically, if you look at the punch stat, he won. But with these old judges that wearing glasses, not saying it's bad about wearing glasses, but with old judges that sometimes are blind or whatever, you never know.
You never know. And that's the thing. Like our coach,
so you got to keep on fighting. You got to keep on fighting.
Exactly. And our coach would always say, you know, never leave it up to the judges. Just make it as dominant and as one-sided as possible. So I mean, it's unfortunate because I was rooting for Tevin Farmer, but Kenichi Ogawa didn't not deserve that win, I'd say. Yeah. Like he didn't really
fought till the end, man.
Exactly. He didn't underperform to where he shouldn't have gotten that decision. So So I mean, congratulations to him. I think now I was just reading something where Gervonta is actually his mandatory.
Oh, to the Kenichi Ogawa?
Yeah.
Oh, too bad. Anyway, you know what? If there's one thing that wakes you up, it's a loss. A loss is either wakes you up, you know, and get you, and you become more hungry than ever, or, you know, it changes your career. That's what a champion is. That's what the champion is, you know. Yeah. So,
and think about Tevin Farmer, we already know, you know, the ups and downs of his career. So, you know, this loss isn't going to stop him.
But I feel bad for him because he was on a good, like.
I do too, yeah.
He was on a good, like, you know, he signed an HBO deal. He started having his career together. About to get the fight he finally wanted. He was right there. The IBF title was right there, Ken. Yeah. It's like not every fighter get the chance to fight for a world title every day. That's not a chance you get every day.
No.
And he was right there. So all you work hard for, the HBO deal, the promoting deal, now you have the belt. Everything has been taken away from you. Now he has to go back in the drawing board. He's not going to be in the discussion for a minute now, and he has to climb back to that top, you know?
Yeah, and it's been an uphill, downhill thing with him, especially after his injury of being shot in his hand and that too. So it's just, and that really is, it can be discouraging. But, you know, that's what makes a champion, like you said. So he'll definitely come back. We probably won't hear anything about him for a little bit of time, but I know he's still gonna be in the gym grinding away. Yeah. So
moving on, main event, Cam. Main event.
Yeah.
You watched the fight?
Yeah, that was a good fight. That was a real good fight.
Fight of the year, man. I have to post something. I have to post something about. I forgot on Instagram about the fight, but it's a potential fight candidate for fight of the year.
Yeah, I think so.
Man, that dude Miguel Roman, he came to get it.
He definitely did.
Man, I love it. He came to get it.
No, it was a great fight. I think. Obviously the win went to the right person, but I think how many times did he knock down?
Twice or once or twice?
I think it was 3 times actually. I think it was 3. Yeah. I
was talking to Kev. We were talking and watching the fight at the same time, but I think maybe 3 times. But you could again, just like Andrew Ward said in the post fight analysis, he could tell that Salido was saying all the right things to you during the fighter interview, but he wasn't the same. He wasn't there anymore. And in the same thing, it's the same thing in the fight where he was fighting. He still kind of had the heart, but when he went down, you could tell he didn't want it anymore. Like he's older. He's been in so many wars. He's been in so many fights that at some point, yeah, you still have the heart of a champion, but your body can't follow up with that. You know what I mean? Like your body can't give you that effort that you want to, because I think the fight got stopped by the 9th or the 8th. I can't remember, the 9th or the 8th.
I don't know.
I mean, he gave everything he had. He gave everything he had, and it's just like, I don't have it in me anymore. Miguel Roman, really forced the pressure the whole fight. He really forced the pressure, like, I'm going to be on you the whole time. But Salido was just like, I can't, you know what, like, I'm too old for, Salido had what, over 60 fights? Yeah. Over 60 fights, something like that. So it's just like, he's been in one too many. I would say that. He's been to one too many. So I think it's a good call of him of calling it a career,
Yeah, and that's what he said. If you guys didn't watch the fight during the interview, he pretty much said he was done fighting. And good for him. I mean, he fought his heart out in this last fight. So
yeah, the younger version of himself wanted it more and had more energy. Younger fighter, more energy, and he got the win.
And I think I think every fighter, especially when they get older, they come to a realization. These younger guys are like what I used to be, and maybe it's time. Like I can't hang with these guys, and it's not like something they don't want to do. It's just they physically can, and and they realize they have their time, and they're just like, well, you know what? It was a good run.
I'm not old, but for what I hear from all these older athletes, not even just older boxer, older athlete, it's harder for them to recover. It's harder for them to recover. Waking up in the morning to train is just not the same as where they were 28 or 29. Yeah. I remember hearing an interview with Shaq when he was talking about he really realized the difference in his body when he turned 30. Like the way you play a game, and the next day you can play 3 games, and the next day you wake up, you're fine. Mm-hmm. When he was 30, he was just like, it would take him like past 30, but I'm sorry. It took him like a few days to recover, So age play a part, man. As much as we want to say it doesn't, with all the technology we have out there now, with body recovery, massage, all the things you get in order to get your body prepared and even to take care of your body. Age still come in effect, it's still a factor where you've been in so many fights that your body's breaking down naturally, and that's what happened with Salido, as you've been to so many, and the style of fight too, because the argument with the Rigondeaux, for example, Rigondeaux is a defensive fighter, so he didn't take so much punishment, and that's why I'm even more upset at him, because he didn't take so much punishment. But someone like Salido, who's fighting like, he really had that Mexican fighting style, which is more of a brawl. You can't fight like that for 60 fight, man.
No, you can't. I mean, it's crazy. And it's, and I like the point you made where, like you said about Shaq not being able to recover. And even like I've noticed, like with me and like the one guy I train with as well, he's about 30, 33, I'm not too far behind him with that in 30 years.
Hey, matter of fact, guys, it was Cam's birthday this week, yo. Happy birthday to Cam.
Appreciate it, man. Birthday. But like even now, like when I go to like do exercise now. Like I have to warm up. Like warm up, like for a good 15 minutes, or I'm gonna hurt myself. So, and that's just the age thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's everybody. You can't escape that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I said, Father Time is undefeated. Father Time is undefeated. But yeah, thanks for the memories, Salido. He's done everything he could do in the sport of boxing. I hope he makes some good money that will secure him and his family in the future. But it's time for taking on. We have a lot of people who retired this December, man. We got Cotto, Salido, now Jean Pascal. Yeah, that's 3 people in December. But I mean, yeah, they did what they had to do in the sport of boxing. Boxing is just one part of your life, and there's so much more they can do now. You know?
Yeah, man.
So, man, do you want to touch on the Pacquiao versus McGregor talk?
Well, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, let's talk about it, man. So I saw you posted it, and I've heard about it too, and I'm sure a lot of other people heard about it. But I guess they are in talks of making this fight happen.
April 2018, man.
They got the month and the year down, so that's part of the work right there.
McGregor's so good, man. I was gonna say I would want to have his life, but I wouldn't. But man, this kid, he's so good now, man. It's crazy.
It's and on top of that, now you got Nate Diaz trying to step into boxing too now. He just tweeted something the other day, I think, saying, you know, he wants to step away from UFC because they put him on the shelf. And first of all, he priced himself out of any fight. But he
think he priced himself? Well, I guess maybe.
He wanted $20 million.
Yeah, and he wanted 15. He wanted 15 to fight Tyron Woodley.
Yeah, it's just like, dude, no. But I think he realizes that boxing is where the money's at. So I think he wants to do what Conor McGregor's doing.
But I don't fault him for that. Go ahead.
I don't fault him for that either. I mean, why not?
Because he has a name. He already has a name and a fan base. So even if his first pro fight, he will make money.
Yeah, I mean,
he will make money.
Why not make more money out there? So,
and I heard he's a legit fighter. I heard he's pretty good with the hands too.
Me too.
I saw an interview with Andrew Ward saying the brothers Diaz can hold their own in the ring. Like it's not it's like no, they are actually pretty decent in boxing.
Yeah.
My only problem is he doesn't. I don't feel like he has the greatest chin. That's my only problem.
Yeah, I mean, if he manages to jump into the boxing side, I mean, I think he'll be able to do all right. But as far as the Conor McGregor and Pacquiao thing, and I know we kind of discussed this a little bit with BJ, but how long do you think this type of setup for fights can carry on?
You mean circus? Because that's a circus. That's what it is. It's a circus.
How long do you think boxing will tolerate this? And what I mean by that, how long do you think fans, like real boxing fans, will tolerate it? And how do you think like the corporation of boxing will tolerate it? Because I think for the corporation,
I think it's not even about. Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
I think the corporation benefits from the money, but I think it will. But I think the fandom are going to get fed up with it.
I don't think so because the problem is this: McGregor, and it's like that with everything. McGregor reached a point where he's a worldwide star now, meaning that he can literally become. He can sell anything because he has the McGregor brand now. Mm-hmm. Once you have a brand, you have to use your name in doing whatever it is you can do. And just because he's McGregor, people will tune in. He just made the McGregor documentary. Look, it's a bestseller. Everybody's selling that documentary because they want to know the history of this gentleman, of this guy that was on welfare 5 years ago, and now he's a millionaire. You know, so I think. It's not even boxing fans, it's casuals and fans that don't know anything about the sport of fighting that would want to tune in and see what McGregor does in the arena.
Here's my question. Do you think the casual fans outnumber the actual boxing and MMA fans?
Yes. Yes. Because the casual fan, they're only worried about it's like they follow the bandwagon. Oh, have you seen that last video? Everybody's going to watch the last video. Just look at how many people showed up for the McGregor. Just look at how many celebrities showed up for the McGregor versus Mayweather fight. It was a circus, but you had so many celebrities who showed up just because they heard of the fight. But it was a circus, you know, just to show you that the people like to kind of follow what's cool. McGregor is what's cool right now. I told you he's hot right now. Whether it's the UFC, whether it's boxing, I think he can make money in either sport.
The Irish Mafia, he's hot with everybody.
In order for him to answer your question, how much longer we'll tolerate these type of circus, I think Pacquiao is going to knock him out or knock him down in 3 or 4 rounds. It's not going to be long. He may set up one more fight, and after that, if I were McGregor, I would get 3 more years in this game. UFC or boxing, I would do 3 more years or 6 more fights, and then I'll call it a career. Because the problem with the UFC is the Max Holloway, the Tony Ferguson, they're not bringing enough money to the table for McGregor to take these fights.
Yeah.
If he takes these fights, it's really for UFC fans because they don't bring enough money. If I'm being honest, the money the fight that would make money, I would say, is the GSP fight, which the GSP fight. That fight would make money, or maybe the Tyron Woodley fight. Those are the only 2 fights that would make sense financially back in the UFC, I think.
Yeah,
then if someone want to challenge me, hey guys, send me the question, but that's the only 2 fights I feel like financially will make sense for McGregor to go back to the octagon.
Yeah.
Now in boxing, he has Canelo, he has Pacquiao, and you have the Malinaggi fight that can make money. Those 3 fights.
Me, for some reason, and I get why you say Canelo because of I think that would probably generate the most money, but I just feel like Canelo's he's too much of a I think he doesn't fall in the same category as Pacquiao and Paulie and those guys. I think he's a little bit higher on the tier. So I don't think.
But you have to remember, Cam, he has all the UK and Irish fans who they support their fighters. It doesn't matter how bad they are; they will support their fighters. Look at how many people showed up for Michael Conlan yesterday, and he only has 5 pro fight.
I guess what I'm trying to say is for some reason, I feel like Canelo would look at that fight and kind of laugh at it for some reason. Like I feel
he
like
laugh, but
the money.
Make money.
Exactly, that's the thing. I'm kind of torn on the fence. Like I feel like Pacquiao is on his way to being done. Paulie Malignaggi is done.
It's done.
I feel like Canelo's still very high in his career, and I feel like this fight would kind of they would look at this fight as not like a fight that would kind of that would progress his career.
It's a business, Cam. That's
what I'm saying. Like the money is too good to pass up.
That's what I was gonna say. Like people have to realize you can say what you want to say, but let's all be honest. If tomorrow someone come up to you and tell you, Cam, you can fight McGregor for 10 million, you would take the fight.
Hell to the
You would take the fight. That's what I'm saying. It's like, if tomorrow they tell me I can fight Anthony Joshua for 20 million, I'm like, shit, I'll take the fight.
Yeah.
I'll take the fight. Don't even give me a training camp. I'll take the fight.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be in the ring for a round or 2, and then I'm like, knock me out.
That's the thing I completely understand too.
Even average fans would take the fight.
Oh yeah.
Even people that don't box would take it.
Yeah, man.
So you can't fault Canelo. Canelo is going to be like, this is like Floyd said. He's like, this is robbery.
It's easy money.
It's easy money.
So,
but they're not going to put. Honestly, if they care for this man's well-being, they will not put him against Canelo.
Unless that's like his last fight or something like that.
No, they wouldn't put him against Canelo.
You don't think so? No.
Man, honestly, man. But the thing is this: the Mexican fan base and the Irish fan base, it will be such a big, you know what I mean? It will be such a big fight because they both have such a big following that the fight will make numbers, Pacquiao, I mean, they didn't talk April 2018. I don't think that fight will make as great numbers as they believe it will, because I don't think Pacquiao, and that's part of Bob Arum's fault. I don't think Pacquiao is as much of a draw as he was before.
Oh, no.
The loss versus Horn, he's in decline. He's on the end of his career. He has so much going on in Philippines as far as being a senator. And now he's a cop. He's a lieutenant, not a lieutenant. He's been ranked. He just got ranked in the army. He just got promoted.
Pacquiao did?
Yeah. He just got promoted in the Philippine army. So he got so much going on that he doesn't have the traction. He's not the draw he first was once before. So as of Pacquiao, I would take this fight as the money-making fight and just call it a career, man. Finish on a high note. Finish on a high note. Get
your money, man. Get your win, and then leave the sport alone, man.
Leave the sport.
Call it a day.
Yeah, but if I'm McGregor 29, shoot, I would take 5-6 more fight and then call it a career. Because at this point he'll probably make 50 million a fight.
Yep. Easy.
Anyway, I had more topics, but we've gone past the hour, and that we can always talk about these things for the next episode. So I'll save these topics for the next episode. But we've done some good stuff. I mean, we talk about some good stuff this episode. Let the people know where they can find us, email us. You
man,
know?
they can find us on Instagram.
It's just like, man, they already know.
They can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, 8countpodcast@gmail.com with any questions or topics you want us to talk about. We are always checking that daily. You can always leave comments on our post. Anything you like, by all means, give us a shout out. Do whatever you want to do. Get a hold of us, all right? Big shout out to, haven't done this in a while. Shout out to my boy Lonray, who does our intro. He did our intro for us, and he's still doing his thing. You can check him out. His producer name is Waju. He's on Spotify. I think he has a couple of things on SoundCloud and stuff like that. So look him up. He's doing his thing out in Sweden. So yeah, that's about it. What you got to say, Ant? Holla at him.
Ain't not much. The month of December, the holidays are close, so spend time with the family. Show people love, and that's all I gotta say, man.
Stay warm, right?
Stay warm. That's all I gotta say.
All right, man.
All right,
we out.